Whoa, what happened there? Joe's running the background. So, because I am out of town, I am on a training. So, Joe is hosting tonight. He's figuring out how the StreamYard works. He's pushing buttons. He's playing around. It's like a kid in a cop car, just pushing buttons, sirens, everything else. So, this is Blasted or Stash It. We're looking at comics that came out January 22nd, 2020. But before we jump into the comic reviews, let's talk about some of the stuff. Let's talk about some of the books we give away. If you go to our Patreon, you can enter the contest to get books, something like, let's see if Joe can figure out this button.
For the what?
With the comic books for Patreon.
Oh, we got comic book. There's a thing for that?
Well, yeah, a little picture, just example of what we give away on.
Like
there
that?
We go. There's like the Shannon Merritt X-Men #3 variant. We also give away certain other books. Definitely a book usually worth about $20. So $1 a month will get you entry into that contest. So definitely go check it out on Patreon. You can also support us. I don't know where it is here. And you can also support us on Teespring by going over and checking out one of our T-shirts. Let's see which T-shirt Joe picks to show here. Yeah. True Ron about X-Men changed my mind. So you can go over to Teespring and check out that, or the You've Been Thunderlust. So definitely want to do that. But if you can't support us financially, we understand that. Definitely give us a thumbs up and a share and a like and all that good stuff. We definitely would appreciate it. So let's jump into the books. But first, you want to talk about chat, Joe, before we jump into books?
Yeah, let's jump into the chat real quick. We got all of our favorite people here, our fans. I never thought that I would say that in my life. First one in there, that old comic smell. He wants to let everybody know he's just tailgating tonight. Discovery Bay Comics, who's been killing it with his little pop-up auctions lately. If you haven't checked that out, definitely check it out. He's swinging in. Faithful viewer, Caffeinated Comic Books himself, saying howdy, howdy. Damn, need a guest producer? Yes, we do. I don't know what I'm doing. What up, Huey and Joey says Double S Comics. So yeah, we got quite a few people. And I tell you what, tonight, thank you all for coming. Sunday night has been hard hitting with all the comic book content out there. So definitely we appreciate your time. I know I must have jumped through at least 8 rooms since 7 o'clock. So it's like, wow.
Yep, it definitely is a competing market out there. So we definitely do appreciate everybody who does take the time to watch us. So let's jump into the books. This week, Jackio jumped on here too just a second ago saying, hey,
Jackio, like Jackio.
We got 2 really good Batman books this week. Well, actually, 3 kind of. If you look at the Batman Curse of White Knight, it was okay. It wasn't the best. But let's talk about Batman first. Let's talk about the Batman.
Batman first. It is
number 87. So this is a continuing story of Batman capturing all those mercenaries that they're trying to figure out why they were in town, and they're putting them in some high security facility and trying to make sure they're there, but they're constantly saying, this is all part of the plan, Batman. Just because you have us in here doesn't mean the plan stops. And so we do find out that that one villain, I forgot the name of the one, that had like poison with her claws and everything like that. We find out that she's actually Clayface in disguise, and so the girl with the poison is still out in the city. So that was all part of the plan. We get to see Batman's new Bat Chopper, or what the hell that thing is.
The wall crawler thing, the night crawler, I think is what they called it in the first issue. Yeah.
There was some part I thought it jumped the shark. I really did, with the whole thing when the ejection down the side of that building, and he's holding on. He's like, I don't know how anybody could do that, Batman, but you're doing it. You'd be your brain should be liquefied by now. That whole rig drove me nuts. I thought that was really cheesy. Jumped the shark a tad bit. That is until she jumps on top of him to stop him, but to attack him, and he runs her into a freaking semi, and he glides underneath. And then after that, I'm like, that's kind of cool. I like that. I dig that, but it still was a tad bit cheesy. But we know, let me see here, wasn't there a big reveal at the end? Yeah, so what had happened since all the prisoners broke out of their high security facility, and they're on their way out with, I think, the help of the Penguin. Yeah, the Penguin's helping him escape. So
Yeah, Penguin and the Riddler, they were all in this too. I really liked them in this.
yeah, so this is great stuff. Man, why can't Tom King write stuff like this? Even though it's jumping a sharky a little bit, but still overall freaking awesome book. Yeah, great. Definitely stash.
Yeah, I like this. Unfortunately, I left my copy upstairs. I don't get the sharky variant, but oh my god, what a great comic book! Look, we have actual villains in this. This is awesome. Like they're objectively bad people doing bad things, so therefore the good guy makes sense. I really like where this is going. I don't know if it's just I've been so jaded by past Batman that this is just eye opening to me, but I really love this new character of assassins, and then we can still roll in the Penguin and the Riddler, and we can still have a little mystery going on there because let's be honest, Batman's better than just one villain. And that's always kind of boring. The more villains you throw at him, it's always more interesting that way because then he's really got to outwit them and outsmart them and think in different ways. And this writer gets that. Man, is he rolling with it. And it is beautiful. And I'm all by myself now. So we're gonna keep this going. Let me know when you're back in the chat, buddy. So we'll move on to the next comic book. So let's see, that was DC. Let's go ahead and get something Once and Future. So I picked up Once and Future. This ends this particular story arc right here. And I really enjoyed this. This was great. It was a great ending. I love the way they did this little spoof to kind of tell you that, yeah, even King Arthur doesn't even know his own story anymore because there's so many watered down versions of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table that they really kind of played off of that in this. And I thought that was really interesting. And I thought that was really smart for the writers to do. And then, of course, at the end, our bad girl, Elizabeth, who has a bastard child, Gilead, she meets Merlin. And I thought that was really interesting. I think it's a good play. And I think we can get Dave back in here. Boom. He's back. Welcome back, buddy.
That's what happens when you say it at Best Western.
Told you. So we just talked about Once and Future and how great it was. You didn't read Once and Future, did you?
I did not read Once and Future. I do have it. I wasn't able to listen to. Was this a miniseries? Is this the end of, or is this the end of an arc?
So I'm assuming it was the end of an arc. I haven't heard anything about the next one coming out just yet, but they left it on a cliffhanger where they can do some more stuff with this. And I was just telling everybody how much I really loved that even King Arthur in this, coming back as an evil guy, he doesn't even know his own story because the story that we've been presented throughout history has been this kind of watered down Disney version of it, and how they really, really got that going.
I'll talk about it, Indy. I know you said you wanted to pick it up, but your store did not get it. And that is Kids #1. This is the Goonies homage variant. They had a couple different movie variants, which are really cool. I can't remember the other one I got. I only brought this one with me, but I did get two of them, two different movie ones. It was a Ghostbusters one. It was the Ghostbusters thing with the zombie in the center. So what basically this is Walking Dead produced by Disney. Kind of that's the feel I got from it. It's a little while after the zombie apocalypse. There's only a group of kids. It says the name of the kids right here. We have Ben, Brooks, Mickey, and Spielberg, and Donahue, and the twins, Polly and Sue. So those are all characters here. So we don't know what happened to the parents yet. And the book opens with them chasing down the zombie, trying to like, we got it over here. Jump the fence. It's over in this yard. And they're riding their bikes around. They're trying to get it. And here's the chubby kid. He's filming the whole thing. He's Spielberg because he's filming the whole incident. And it's them. They knock her into the pool. They whack, they figure out who it is, but they end up knocking her into the pool. And the one kid gets grabbed. And then at the end of the night, they're going and they're watching their videos again. The guy's like doing, hey, this is the kids. We're catching zombies or whatever we're doing, So cool intro and everything, almost like he's putting out a YouTube channel with them hunting down zombies. And it's them going out and they collect supplies and all that stuff, but it doesn't really give any backstories on yet why the zombie apocalypse happened, where all the adults are, anything like that. So we have no clue. But, here they are, they're out searching for supplies, just like, Walking Dead. The art in here reminds me of Gorillaz. You've ever watched the Gorillaz music videos?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very much that kind of art style in here. Very cartoony. But like I said, if it was Walking Dead, if Disney produced it, that's what it remind me of, a kid's tale of survival and a group of them just hanging out and trying to make it without any adults, and they're trying to have fun doing it. So overall, this was a pretty fun read. I was like, oh my God, kids, how am I going to relate? Being 43 years old, how am I going to relate to these kids in the zombie apocalypse? But it was fun. I thought it was really good and a fun read. The art fit the story real well, and the characters, I think, interacted very well too. So I think kids is a stash for me, and I'm gonna pick up issue 2.
Good deal. Real quick in the chat, we got what do we got here? We got Jacko. He's the last one to say hi. Discovery. Everybody saying hi to each other. Caffeinated Comics says, "God bless James Tran." I actually enjoy a Batman again. Amen. I think we're all on there. Discovery Bay loves the Penguin and the Riddler and how they've gotten a little bit more twisted in this last issue. I agree. I can deal with it. Literally anything is better than Tom King. We have some serious Tom King haters. Thumbs, comic books and reviews. He would say, "What's up, guys?" Caffeinated Comics goes up because he sucks and he hates superheroes. I think there's a little blood vendetta going on there. Let's see. Discovery Bay says, "Once your future is fire." Let's see. Gore's in the room. He says, "One Ranger, one Rot." Again, Joe. Yes. Let's see here. Caffeinated Comics. Second Street. Second Street Marvel wants to tell everybody what's going on. Hey, what's up? How are you doing? Caffeinated Comics. Great. Moving into my new apartment in less than 2 weeks. Congratulations, sir. Hopefully it's a move up and not a step down. And going to start pumping out content again once I'm all set up. Can't wait to see that. That will be awesome. We are caught up.
Okay. I did kids. What do you got going on over there?
Let's see here. Let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room, the new relaunch of Guardians of the Galaxy. You read this, right?
I did. Is it a relaunch or a continuation?
Well, it's a number 1.
Okay.
It's a new adventure. So I went with this 2 per store variant, which looks just like the trade vest. The only difference is that's slightly faded here at the top, which is stupid, and I feel like a sucker for buying it. Because I am. So this is great stuff anyway. What we got here is we got some people that are kind of uncomfortable with the whole family setting, right? They're trying to be a family. They even cooked a turkey, and nobody likes turkey because the skin is weird or something like that. I don't know why a trash panda has a problem with turkey, whatever. They're sitting there. All of a sudden, Nova shows up and he's like, "Yeah, guess what? Universe is in trouble again. We need to book out and take care of this." And everybody else is like, "No, we're good. It's like we've done our part. We're done," except for Rocket Raccoon, of course, and Peter Quill. So immediately, when everybody else goes to sleep, they sneak off to go save the universe again. And guess what? They have to put a team together. So now you already got second-rate Nova. You got some other character, that Moondragon person that nobody knows to, that nobody cares about. And then we get one in for the interview, and it's Marvel Boy with his explosive fingernails, psychoactive spit drug, I guess. I don't know, his date rate spit. That's what I'm calling it.
His Cosby spit.
Yeah, cosmic, and all of his other wonders, powers, or whatever else. It doesn't matter. And then he goes, his preferred pronouns are him and he, which I doubt. But regardless, okay, so be it. They fly out. Come to find out, our villains this time are the gods of Olympias, right? Because when you run out of villains to make up, why not steal from history? So there we are. They sneak onto Mount Olympus, I guess. It's in space, to try to break everything up. They get caught because, of course, they're not really the Guardians of the Galaxy. But who do we find chained up to a wall? We see Hercules, and we haven't seen Hercules since No Road Home. So this is actually kind of cool. What's he been up to? So what's been going on? I hope this is the tie-in that they were hinting at over in the Thor, with the darkness coming over the universe. I hope this is connected to it. That's my prediction anyways. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Well, quote me on it. I'll deny it later. Regardless, I hope it is, because that would actually make sense and make this very good to see gods and heralds and all that fight together. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
So
I actually
all in all,
enjoyed this. Yeah, I actually enjoyed this. I think this is better than Kate's run. I think Kate's run kind of came off kind of strong, and then it really petered out. Yeah. But this was great. This was just a great action. They're going to go in there and blow the gods' rotating temple or whatever it is up. You know, it's just remind me of a crime movie or a movie like that where they're going to we're gonna demo the thing, but they all get caught essentially. You know, Moon Dragon's cover is not working because she gets ran into by Hermes, who's she's able to hide, not see them, not hear them, but she forgot about smell and boundaries, I guess, because the one girl the hunter could smell them, and Hermes knew the boundaries had been broken through. What's cool about it is have a tie-in to Annihilation Scourge. I think that's going to be cool. I think we're going to be able to pull into that. There's an awful lot of pouty Peter Quill in this. You know,
just a little bit of a whiner.
He's little pouty lips there.
I do like Rocket Raccoon finally wearing a shirt with a collar on it. Pop that collar sign.
Yeah. I do like the tie-in with the Olympic gods and how now they're reborn, but they're born evil. I think that's kind of a cool new twist to it. They do tie in the other stuff from the previous arc with the religious cult, so that's cool. So it's not just like a complete redo. Of course, and then we also get. You said we get Hercules at the end. Look how low cut those pants are. Jeez,
right,
man, I'm going to be showing his little Herc there in a minute. So
it's raining men up in here.
Yeah, it definitely is. And the whole splash page with Marvel Boy, when I read through it the first time, I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? Are you seriously? And then I think, dude, they've got to be messing with this.
They're trolling. They're just having fun.
Yeah, they're not trying to be serious. They're not trying to be progressive. I think they're just trying to make fun of that a little bit.
Oh, well, yeah, yep. They're definitely trying to make for him. You'll have to forgive him. He's at a Best Western. It's the best the state of Oregon can do. So we'll keep this going until he pops back up. Real quick, let's hit up this chat real quick and see what everybody's up to, see what your thoughts are. Is anyone reading Bloodshot, 80s or 90s pure octane, high octane action? That's because it's all cocaine induced, brother. Let's see. Moving on down. Yes, Joey, the elephant in the room, the new Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, it's still a stash for me, as weird as it is. Comic Core comes in and says hello and says, what's up to SS? Gore says, I never enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy. Maybe if Grant Morrison wrote them, they would work for me. I could see that. A lot more people that want that deeper writing. I also didn't like the film. That surprised me because I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was really good. I'd rather watch Farscape or Heavy Metal. I liked Farscape. I did like that show. That was a good show. Also, we got Caffeinated Comics. You're not wrong, Joe. Laugh out loud. Okay. And I told you, Joe, One Ranger. I like it.
Yeah.
The room's all caught up, and you are back, sir.
I am back. As soon as I was talking about being progressive, I got kicked out. I think Hillary Clinton's watching this. She's after me. So just to let you know. Yeah, that's right. You're an Army Ranger, huh?
I was.
And I'm a park ranger. We're the Ranger and Ranger show.
Ranger and Ranger.
Now you're a far more badass than me, though. That's for sure.
Do I look badass? I drink candy.
But yeah, as I was saying, and then he went total control my body and my mind. I carry my own laws of physics with me as a weapon. Pronouns are he, him, and I thought, oh my god, seriously. But then I thought about it a little more. So.
Really? With your Kool-Aid hair? Really? Mango Bag just came into the room. He says, hi, everyone.
And I'm sure I'll bounce out of here left and right, but I have the link open in a new tab, so I should be able to jump back in pretty quick.
Not a problem. Give us a comic book before Best Western says, nope, you can't purchase
oh my goodness. I guess let's talk about this. I'm a little confused. Maybe I need to read it again. Web of Venom, the Good Son.
Let's talk about because that is a weird one.
What I do remember about this book is that there's an awful lot of angry close-up faces. Look at that.
Lots of angry close-up faces. A lot of child rage.
There is a lot of child rage in here. So this is after Eddie Brock had left Dylan with the you know who I'm talking about, Osborne's,
Yeah.
and somehow for some reason maybe Dylan's a juvenile delinquent now because maybe he found out his dad's Eddie's his dad and he's rebelling. I guess it just seems really out of character for what we've known him for in the rest of the books. So I just thought, man, that's just where are we going with this? And I was trying to get figured out on it. But they're planning on breaking out of the apartment to go have fun, I think. And then Dylan reveals he has a piece of the symbiote from before. The avocado dude is the cat now. You know, what was Sleeper?
Yeah, he did that back in the Web of Venom. He transformed into a cat because Dylan didn't like dogs or something weird. Yeah.
So they go out and they're playing with the symbiote, and it attaches itself to a raccoon. And raccoon's half carnage, half symbiote. And then turns into the whole symbiote. Then they go to a convenience store and cause problems. I'm like, this is a guidebook for juvenile delinquency. I thought, what the hell is going on here? Like I said, this is not the Dylan that we've known through the rest of the, from what, Venom number 7 or 8, I think, is when he first showed up. So I don't know. I was hoping this was going to be really good. I was hoping this would go along lines with Venom and everything else, but unfortunately, I think it fell a little flat with me. I know it's shown more of a tie-in with Null and maybe how Dylan may have that connection with Null now because of the power she has. But other than that, I didn't think it was interesting or at all, other than maybe trying to show a different side of Dylan that we haven't seen. It's a blast for me.
It's a blast for me too, but I have to give some respect to this book because I kind of see where it's going. I wish they were a little bit more forward with it, but they tried to masquerade it too much. So you have to think of it from Dylan, or the best I can transcribe, okay? Think of it from Dylan's standpoint, how much control he has not had during this entire Venom run, constantly being locked in a room, constantly. And now all of a sudden he starts getting power, right? And what does a child do when they're finally given power?
They rebel.
Stupid shit.
Yeah.
They do stupid stuff, right? That's what they do because they're not mature enough to handle that power. So that happened. And I think that's what we're kind of seeing here. We're seeing a kid who's lashing out, who's in he's in an extremely awkward situation, who's constantly being pushed back. So, I mean, we could dive into the psychology of that a little bit, but not too deep because his acting out is just ridiculous. It's way too much and it's way overdone. A couple of maybe, bad things happening. That could have been something, but not really. I thought they kind of just overpushed that just a little too much. Other than that, and his little whiny friend now, that's just annoying. So all in all, I'm blasting it, but I can respect it, I guess, to some degree. I don't know. What do y'all think in the chat room? Let us know. If you read The Good Son, are we missing something here? Because it just seemed like a whole lot of, I'm tired of the adult world and I'm going to do bad stuff. While y'all ponder that, let me hit the chat up real quick. Gorbinell said his piece. Let's see here. Caffeinated Comics and Unsub. Laughing my butt off. You're not wrong, Joey. I told you, Joe, one Ranger, as he smiles. Mango Man, hi, everyone. We mentioned that. I think Cates has run his course. He may have with that particular character. You give him something else, and I'm sure he'll shine again. I think it's just too much Venom right now and too much related stuff to Venom right now. I think that's where we're probably at on that. Okay, fellas, great conversation. I'm heading out now. Have a good one. I'll probably watch the rest later. Take it easy. Second Street Marvel. Have a great night. Nope. I think you hit the nail on the head there, Joe. Thank you. I do appreciate that. I do, to some degree, pride myself on my ability to wing it. So thank you for that. Discovery Bay, he's all venomed out right now. I don't blame you. It's way too much. I love the Savage Island thing, but I think all this other tie-in stuff is just starting to become a little bit more. it's a little too much right now. We need to kind of hone it back a little bit. I guess that's the reason for breaking it out on its own issue and running it that way so it doesn't get conflicted with the current Savage Island. Why don't you hit us with another one there, Huey, before Best Western says nope?
Yeah, I had to get some more quarters to put in the machine. Whatever happened to those vibrating beds in the hotel room? I remember that as a kid, my dad getting quarters and plugging into bed and the bed shake. Maybe that was the wrong kind of hotel for me to be in.
Your dad told you that story? That's weird.
Okay. We're going way off topic of comics here. We're going into life lessons and stuff that I never should have learned from my father. Let's talk about folklords.
Yes, let's talk about that because that was a very interesting book.
Yeah, so at the end of the last issue, we find out that the main character, I forgot his name already, he is captured by essentially what they think is like the witch from Hansel and Gretel. He wakes up, he's strapped to a machine, and then we have essentially Hansel sitting there saying, hey, they give little history of her and her brother going through and meeting not the witch, but this old dude, kind of remind me of Ichabod Crane, kind of. That looked
right. Who has some sort of tie-in with the librarians?
Yeah, that's correct. That's right.
Yeah.
And as her brother had eaten so much candy, he got diabetes, and he's deformed now.
I thought he just went retarded. Can you say that on YouTube now?
I don't know. I think we might have just got demonetized now. So they're going to torture him, and freaking sloth-looking brother there. It's like very, very limited vocabulary. And then you hear some noises upstairs. So Hansel goes up to, or Gretel goes up to check it, look at it, and Hansel's getting ready to drill into his face, down, and he's strapped down to the board, and he couldn't find out that's that old troll lady thing came in the house to save him. And
they never gave her a name yet, so we'll just call her Ugly, because apparently that's what she thinks her name is. Ugly.
Yep. So she breaks him out of there. He's talking about essentially, he does ask her name later on, and she's been called that so long, kid. I don't remember what her name is anymore. And she's, I think, well, I don't care. I just own it. And so that they have that little life lesson kind of thing, or that personal moment together. Which kind of find out, just talking about her quest. She's talking about her friend. She'll never see his friend again. I don't know. Maybe he ran off. That's what the thing is. But he did grab a book of instruments that seem to be from the future as well. So we're still getting more and more tie into the future. Is it something that's real? Is it something that's in multiple people's dreams and they're just seeing it? We have no clue to what's going on. But this is still continuing to be good. The quest is still moving forward. And with like a lot of movies, the person you think is the bad guy turned out to be the good guy. Turned out to be the person with heart. Turned out to be Sloth from Goonies. It turned out to be, I think, another big, bad, ugly villain that you would think would be the bad guy. Any of the people from Home Alone, the old guy next door, the old homeless lady in the park. Yeah. That's what she is, the homeless lady.
So, yeah, he's absolutely right. The combination of the two do make it very interesting. I really like this play off of the fairy tale world, the modern world, and then there's this kind of thing in the middle where the kid is kind of going through everything. I really do enjoy that as well. I thought it was a great this is just a great play on storytelling and kind of subverting it in surrealism. It's really what it is. Good guys are really bad guys. What we perceive to be bad guys are really just misunderstood. I think it's a very cool play. I really do enjoy that as well. So yeah, this is definitely a stash of mine. And if you're not reading this, I mean, literally we're on issue 3 right now, and it's very interesting. The young boy, our hero in this, if you will, he has these visions of our world. We'll just say our world. And in this book, or in that gingerbread house, he kind of picks up this book, and it says things that can be used as items of torture. And it's like a drill, a car steering wheel. It has like modern stuff in it that you and I would recognize, but obviously it's being misinterpreted in this. I really like that. The whole fact that there was a drill being used in there. So this entire house was full of modern stuff that this kid sees in a vision. So there's obviously some sort of connection there. I like it when storytelling has connection that we should relate to, but then subverts it by throwing it in a twisted way. And I really like that. The writer of this is super smart, and I like it. Not Tom King, big brain smart, but just, yeah, but we can also look at it this way. And I really like that. It's very subtle and it's beautifully done. I'm actually learning a lot from this comic book on how to write a comic book from this. This is really well written.
This is gonna be a long night, Joe.
No, it ain't. Hit us with another one. You lead the comic books tonight. I'll follow up on you in case you dump off. I'll pick it up.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan. So let's move into Detective Comics number 1019. I started picking back up on Detective Comics last week or last issue. I bought them, but I just never have read them. So I'm kind of glad I'm picking up a reading on these. So this is continuing on with that the Viking Christmas. And the Viking jumping from the tree, trying to chop Bruce Wayne down as a sacrifice. I had to go back and look in this, and then the next page revealed it. It shows him chopping through that electrical wire, and I'm like, wait a minute, wood does not conduct electricity. So I was like, what the hell are they doing here? Of course, then he goes. Bruce says, luckily I lived through science class as well, the water electricity part anyway. So apparently the axe was wet from the snow. I think that's what we're doing. I don't know if it was wet enough to conduct electricity, but we'll go with that, I guess. Mr. Gretzky's in here as well. And so Bruce kind of fakes that he's kind of like flustered or a little scared. He needs to take off to try to figure out what's going on. And Lucius tells him, I think he tells him that he's getting better at acting, or Lucius. He says Lucius is getting better at acting. Lucius is. And so he goes in, and Bruce is doing research on Alfred's cataloging. He's talking about how he's always impeccable, and he's looking up Viking symbols and Viking name. They're talking about the blood eagle, which if you've ever seen the TV show Vikings, that shows a great example of a blood eagle. Awesome show, at least was for the first 3 or 4 seasons. And after that, I kind of lost it.
Yeah.
But he's finding out that these are more like Viking mythology. The guy that originally tried to kill Bruce gets taken from the hospital, and Bruce is going back to that original site from the last issue, trying to do some more investigating. He ends up getting captured by a fiery chain and by a whole other set of Vikings that are under a trance or they're a cult or whatever they are. And they resurrect a beast from another dimension. They doesn't even call what the beast is called. The Fallen Day. God is here. But I think the beast says something. He's not, you're something else, talking about Bruce Wayne. You need to kind of just chucking him off to the side and grabbing a couple of the people that are in this cult and pulling them into the mouth of this beast, maybe into the other dimension, including their leader. We find out, too, that that big guy that tried to kill Bruce at the beginning.
So what we're laughing at is Gretzky comes in and says, isn't Fox's son the next Batman? And then Caffeinated Comics comes in and says, if we don't talk about it, it can't happen.
But overall, this is kind of a cool. I mean, to me, you can tell the difference between Detective Comics and a Batman comic. It has a difference, and this really fit within that Detective Comics kind of almost a little paranormal kind of stuff, with the Viking history and stuff like that. So I thought this was really good. This is the end of this 2-part story. But overall, it's a stash. The art's really great in here. I do like how Batman's going through and being a detective, So it was really good. It's a stash.
Yeah, this is a very smart comic book. 2 issues. You want to take 2 issues and you want to make them enthralling. Make the first one something somebody wants to get into. Maybe even dive a little deeper into it. Subvert expectations. This entire thing plays off of term. It's used in poli-sci a lot. It's called a useful idiot, and I don't mean that derogatory. It's an actual term. So this works very good in cults and stuff like that, like it's being played in here. The demon, the thing from the other dimension, whatever it is, uses them, their beliefs, their power, their spiritual whatever, so it can create a doorway to come in. And it tells them full of lies, like just complete lies. And then it uses them and then eats on them, right? The useful idiot. There was a term that was used in here. It was really interesting. It took me like forever to look this term up, and it's Durux, DAU, fancy symbol over an OI, and it's actually a term meaning death. I thought that was kind of cool. It's used in a lot of Viking literature to describe death, because it's not death as in we die. It's kind of more of what this demon is. It has to use the power of. So Vikings, you go to Valhalla, right? What's the choice of Valhalla? They do have their own purgatory, and to get out of that purgatory, people have to believe that you're a hero, sing songs about you, write poetry, tell stories. That kind of plays off this story of it coming out and being able to be aggressive with the people praising it and all this other stuff. I thought that was a really neat connection. I hope you did too. It's just another example. Like, I don't look up random facts about Vikings, right? Like, I took a blacksmithing class. I made a couple of Viking weapons one time. Like that's it, right? So that was really cool. Whenever I see something in a comic book, I try to look it up. So I found that to be like, they were kind of already talking about that by using this word and what it actually meant and how it ended up playing in it. I really like that. So I thought that was really smart. And this is just good comic book. I was scared that I would be a little overloaded with Batman, with all the DC stuff coming out, and this did not disappoint. And I'm not. It was all really good stuff this week. So I'm super happy.
Discovery Bay says, "Hey, Jordan Huey, what issue do you think is good jumping on point for Detective Comics right now? I've been collecting but not reading since 999. I would say next issue. I think this was the end of that 2-part story, and hopefully they're going to jump into something new. So nothing like world building is going on, or big story is going on right now. Yeah. So I think it would be a good time to jump back in.
Honestly, with both of these issues already out, you can probably pick them up really cheap, just so you can get used to Tomasi's writing, because he's always adding little clues in his writing that always make you want to look into stuff. So I would say, what is this? 10, 18, 10, 19, just to get used to the writing, especially if you can pick them up for $1 or cheaper than cover. That way you know what you're getting into with Tomasi, and just roll from there until you're bored with it. It's really good stuff. If you're looking for older detective stuff, man, last year was kind of ho-hum.
Yeah, Captain Comics says, jump right in and start Tomasi's run. Yeah, Tomasi is I think he says up above too that he's one of the top writers at DC, and I definitely agree. Especially with the Super Sun stuff that he did and moving into here, I think it's a natural progression. I think he did Robin, I think, in the New 52, and some other earlier stuff too, but definitely. Okay. So I'm about due to be kicked out of here, but let's start talking about it before I do. That is try to do Batman Curse of the White Knight number 6. So this series is actually running on a little bit longer than I thought, because I think the last issue, White Knight, was 6 or 7 issues. This is going for 10 or 12, I think.
Yeah.
So we're right in the middle of this here. So at the last issue, we find out that they think Edmund was the one that essentially flooded the valley, which then allowed the water back out. Then he bought all the property and tried to, essentially making these millions off the poor. And we find out here that when Batman is talking to Harley Quinn, essentially he thinks she has the power, and he's going to go talk to a priest. And we find out who it is. It's actually the demon.
Yes, it's Jason Blood, the demon. That is
Jason Blood, the demon. I question this panel right here with Batman up on his feet on the seat, wrapping his arm around the cross. That's a little
right. That's weird. Right. I thought that was weird too. I was like, why is that a thing? That's weird. As a matter of fact, show it again. Now that I know how to do this, let's blow it up. So yeah, that's weird.
I mean, you see him pose like that when he's on the gargoyle on the side of the building or a cross up on top of the building, but not. He's going, what the hell are you doing, dude? That'll be my first question. Just get off
Imagine me
there.
just coming over to your house instead of standing in the seat. I stand behind it, wrap my arms around it, and stare at you all weird. Like that's weird.
So Blood is being kind of cryptic. He's not necessarily telling him everything. Some things he's just, need to find out on your own. But they talk about Bakar and Edmund when they first came over, and they said in order to really to fit in, we need to act like criminals. And so they start living that criminal lifestyle. And then
Gangster life. They started being gangster.
being gangsters. And then it pops into talking about Harley and Batman talking about how essentially Harley is, or Joker, let me rephrase this. Harley is the one that Joker's afraid of. He thinks she has all the power because she's the one that keeps Napier back, able to pull Napier back. But it's funny, he tells her to suit up and he just gives her whole Harley Quinn outfit. That was kind of lame. Like, dude, suit up. Dude, yes. You can do some acrobats.
Suit up.
And I do like the fight between Azrael and Batman is kind of cool, where Batman's using the flashbangs essentially to kind of throw Azrael off. We see kind of a morph between Joker and Napier coming back and forth because Harley's trying to talk him into it essentially, or talk him out to bring Napier out because he had kidnapped the twins. And so she's trying to get him back. She's just being a protective mom. She ended up, bashing him in the face. He tried to kill himself, but she stops him. Then we get on to find out more about Edmund and Bakar. Bakar, how do you pronounce his name? Not written down here. That Bakar had actually killed Edmund and took over the mantle of Edmund Wayne. And so now the reveal is that Batman's not a Wayne. He's a Bakar, or is he? Bakar was the imposter. Azrael is the true heir to the Wayne Foundation or fortune. And then we get Joker shot in the head with his own gun by Harley Quinn. That's how the book ends. Spoiler, by the way, if you didn't know that.
Yeah. So, yeah, that didn't need to happen. But, yeah, that happened.
Yeah, so this is getting tippy-turvy. I mean, it's going where the first issue or the first run of Batman White Knight was really good. This one's teetering on me a little bit. I still pick him up, but it's still on the verge of like, you're going back and forth. You're doing a lot of this and that. I guess Batman's kind of known for that, doing the whole misdirection kind of thing. But this is getting to be too much for me. I mean, it's a stash, but I'll still pick it up. But back here, Huey. And,
okay. So, yeah, it's still a stash for me. I do have some questions some obvious questions I would like to think. So first off, the best part of this book is Harley Quinn shooting Jack Napier in the face because I was tired of that story anyway. I don't need that sub-story in there. It was annoying. The power of love and will. I don't care about that. I'm a 43-year-old white man who's been jaded by life. I don't need the power of love to touch me in any other way. So I don't need that. However, good note, I kind of like the whole history of this, going back a little bit, and kind of seeing divine providence, inheritance, and all that kind of get twisted around a little bit. So now here's my question. So if we go back to the first issues, again, if we read this all as one book, the twist doesn't make any sense. Because if Edmund died in the well, who's his heir?
That's what I was wondering. So you're saying he must have been born before his kids were born before he died?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Maybe some hooker's kid. I don't know at this point. It leaves more questions than it does an aha moment.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes you question it. And I don't think when you write a story, you want people like picking apart your story. So you should be a little cleaner in that, maybe. Mm-hmm. I would think. as far as Azazel, we always thought that he was just delusional, but now that, yeah, he might actually be the heir of all of this. I kind of like that because it kind of justifies him as a character, and I like that. So he's not really a bad guy. He's just a determined guy that wants something and has hard lines and willing to cross them. I'm fine with that. So that's interesting. But yeah, back to that whole little switcheroo of a possible switcheroo. It's just it's hard to follow and it doesn't flow very well, and it makes me kind of I just want to forget that. I don't want to remember the last issues, right? Because it messes this up, and it's like I don't know. I'm still stashing it. I'm still gonna read it. Who knows? Maybe it's a switcheroo to the fourth power. Like I don't know at this point, but if it does become that, then I'm gonna be done with this because that just doesn't make sense. The well finally makes sense. Who's in the well? Who was the person that died in the well? That was answered. And then the Joker finding out, great twist to that. I wish the Joker was still in it, but to be honest, I don't want to deal with Jack Napier anymore. I never really recognized him as the Joker to begin with. I don't care that he's a character. I'm sorry. I could care less about Harley Quinn's kids. Like, I'm sorry. That's just a trope. I don't like that. But other than that, it's a pretty good story, which leaves a very thin line in this book. So I'm teetering too. Real quick over to the chat. We got I have everything since 975 on. I just haven't read them. That's Discovery Bay. He goes, oh my God, you make me cry. Rest in peace, Super Sons. Yes, rest in peace, Super Sons. Apologies. Oh, Super Sons. Let's see here. Gargoyle-esque pose when we were talking about. Yeah, that was so weird. The way he was just wrapped around that thing like he was trying to make love to it or something. Harley Quinn's better before she was just more obnoxious female Deadpool. I'll agree with that. Double S wants to remind you it's pronounced back hair. I don't know if that's absolutely correct. I thought it was Bakar. Let's see here. Agreed. Has some major problems. Yes. Curse of the White Knight does have some problems, literarily speaking. Yes. Sheen Murphy is aces and super chill guy. That's nice to know if I ever meet him. I would like a story where Bruce Wayne has a skiing accident in the Alps, has amnesia, and his therapist on Joker's behalf is Harley. Bruce picks up on it, and both engage in erotic mind games. That's very detailed.
That is very detailed.
I like it though. Let's roll with it. Let's do it. Let's see what happens.
We're talking about hitting somebody's head. Let's talk about Basket Full of Heads. This story is not progressing very fast.
You read it, right? Like this one, really? You saddened me, old man.
I saddened you?
You saddened me.
It's just not. I don't feel like it's moving forward enough.
Go ahead, give me your review, and I'll give mine, and we'll see who's right. The chat will decide. The chat, you decide who's right.
I mean, it ends off with at the end of the last issue, they're trying to get that tree out of the middle of the road. Him, that middle-aged, overweight dude in the raincoat, and he tries to kill her. That's what she thinks. And at the beginning of this book too, but she ends up stabbing him in the gut with the stab from a tree. You know what a stab is, right? Okay. I've said stab numerous times. People, what the hell's a stab? They had no clue what a stab was. Sorry, I went off topic there. But she ended up giving him a good elbow to the face and then ended up chopping his head off with that axe. And he's still talking. Of course, the same thing goes through. He's like, hey, I can't feel my arms. Hey, what's going on? Hey, is that my body over there? Hey, who are you? Why are you doing this to me? Hey, I was only trying to help you. Hey, there's so many panels of that. And then she gets put in the basket with the other dude, and they're chatting back and forth. Apparently, they know each other because they're kind of referring to each other by first name. And so she's going a little bit crazy, a little bit loony. She gets in the truck, ends up taking off to the police station, trying to find, or the sheriff's office, trying to find somebody there. We find the sheriff's son there. Now they're talking, and and he's trying to help her out, and he's saying, well, he's not a cop, but he likes to help out. He helped his dad out on the phones because he can do that. And we find out that he's a bad guy too, and knows these other people, these criminals. So that does make me think: does sheriff know what's going on? Is sheriff in on this? But it just feels like it's just not progressing fast enough for me. It's not like, okay, we're going through this again. Okay, now she's back in trouble again. Okay, I don't know. It just does not feel like it's moving forward enough for me. Do you figure that out? You figure that out?
I just learned that by myself.
Oh, nice, good job. This is my favorite of the Joe Hill House books for sure. But I just wish we know more about what's going on, more about the axe, maybe a little more information about the axe. Why does it have this power to be able to essentially cut people's head off, but leave them aware of their surroundings situation? I don't know. It's a stash, but just because I want to finish it up.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about it now.
Okay.
I'm going to get personal.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm not. I don't care. All right, so the last issue, I literally I wasn't going to pick up the next issue because I thought that was the dragging on issue. I was like, oh my God, just stop talking to the head. And oh, look, we're going to have a mix up with a guy on this street. And I'm like, oh my God, some random guy. I was like, I just don't care. Then she lobs the head off. And I finally got the story. I get the story here. The story is not about this girl with a magical axe. It's about different personalities. And what we're going to ultimately see is this basket full of head of various manipulative ways that people manipulate. All right, so we have the guy who's just only kind whenever he needs something. He's very brash, but he can't hide his brashness, so he has to lie by being compassionate. And then we get the guy who's trying this religious streak on her. He's trying to manipulate through religion. The God said, God this. He did that a lot in there. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden we get this kind of young Casanova kid in the jail cell who's obviously the outcast from the family. Does the sheriff have anything to do with it? I kind of hope he doesn't, but if he does, I feel that we're going to get a authoritative type manipulation out of him. This entire thing is nothing more than a bunch of people manipulating the girl. And the funny thing is it's working because she's doubting herself nonstop, but she's constantly pushing forward to get the answers. And I can respect that. Is it a comic book? No, nothing from Hill House is really comic book writing. It could be a 500-page novel and you would read the same way. It could be Stephen King's work or whatever. It doesn't need to be a comic book, but we do have it in a comic book format, and I really like this because now we have pictures instead of words, so I don't have to imagine a world. The world's there, it's given to me, and now I can actually focus just on the dialogue itself. And that's what I'm getting from this. The whole trope of using a Viking axe, of hacking off somebody's head, I've done the research already. I can't find anything like that in Viking lore for any reason why that would need to happen. I've asked a couple of friends of mine that are very heavily into European literature to see if maybe they could find something. They're on it. We might have an answer for you. So definitely check in on Blaster or Stash It Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for that answer. Shameless plug. But I really like this because it's just dealing with different ways of manipulating people. We're trying faith. We tried politeness, false, or let's just say snake in the pocket philosophy, right? What's a snake in a pocket, right? It's going to bite you. That's basically the first guy. And the second one's religion. And I think the other guy, once his head gets whacked off, it's going to be, charm and facade and things along those lines. I think this is a good way to kind of play off that and how this plays in people's minds. Maybe we're going to get a woman's perspective on it, so be it, or however altogether. I think it's a very important book to be reading just because of that. But I don't think it's a comic book. What's going on? John's Comics with Kids, who's been killing it lately. Apparently, they did their big farewell to Fire Guy Ryan. Apparently, he's leaving everybody. So we all want to say goodbye to that. I know you two have been friends. That's really cool. And he wants to congratulate us on hitting 900. Yeah, that's awesome. Goal this year, 2020, over 1,000. We're going to push it hard.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That explanation?
That makes sense. Where it's talking about the different personalities. I get that now. I see that now, and that does bring an interesting aspect to the book and the story itself. So, yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
I changed your mind. I'm one of the heads in the basket.
Oh, yeah.
I'm joking.
Which one are you, though? So, we've only got about 5 minutes left. The other book, I'm gonna have to have you started off on this because I read this really late at night and I lost. And we talked about it last time, saying that this was probably going to be the weak issue of this run, and I think it was. This is Ruins of Ravencroft Dracula.
You started off. This was the weak one. Wow, man, you're really disappointing me here lately.
I'm sorry, Joe. I do what I can, but
you got those Western fumes in your nose. That's the problem.
Is that what it is? It's that patchouli stink.
So you want me to start with this one?
Yeah, start with that one.
All right, kids, gather around the campfire, and let's rap about World War II. I liked this. I really did. I thought this was smart. I don't think it should be in any type of continuity whatsoever. I think it should just be a standalone. All these number ones should just be separate stories by themselves. The connecting story does not matter in this. Some writers are just having some fun with this. So Captain America and good old Bucky, they got to break into a mental institution. It's Ravenclaw to find out what happened to their friend Lieutenant Bud. Now, I've done some research to find out who Lieutenant Bud is. I have looked through Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age. I can't find this character anywhere, so I'm assuming it's just a random guy. If I'm wrong, please comment. I'm just not finding the guy. Apparently, he's been locked away in here, and apparently he's been experimented on. So we have a lot of patients in here. A lot of them have been experimented on because there's a government agency in there that are doing bad things to bad people. And the ones that don't turn out the way that they want, they throw them, they call them the unwanted. Hence the Volt in the last number one issue that we did. Stop, Marvel, please stop calling these things number ones. Just connect them already because it makes it hard to review. So the unwanted are all these failed experiments, if you will. So we have that. Well, guess who's also in tied with this whole government experimentation thing? It's Dracula. Why would Dracula want to be part of this experiment? Well, he's determining what side Transylvania is going to be on during this whole World War II event that's happening. I like the connection. That actually was pretty smart. I thought that was ingenious. Romania was right there during the whole thing. If you know your history in anywhere, they were kind of flippity-floppity to begin with. So it kind of makes sense as far as that goes to some degree. We're talking about comic books. Minor connections are okay. So that kind of happens in here. There's battle ensues. Captain America versus Dracula. Bucky runs around. The guy, Lieutenant Bud, he's like, please just kill me. The assumption is that Bucky killed him. Pretty strong one too. And then we also find out that Ravenclaw didn't want any of this stuff happen, so he frees the unwanted to tackle all the government experimental guys, all the scientists, all the big brains. So they attack them all, and in a desperate act of heroism because of all of his shame, he takes his own life. We'll talk about that in a second. So all this happens, and like Captain America and everybody boots, scoots, and boogies and burns this place down to the ground, right? So that happens. So what's the thing about Ravenclaw killing himself? Well, by no means am I going to stand on a soapbox for suicide. Like I would lose that battle automatically. However, there is something to be said for the reasons why he did that in here as his one last great act of heroism for all the shame that he has done in allowing this stuff to happen. Now, before you get on a soapbox and start screaming at me, remember Hercules committed suicide. It can be argued if Jesus did. It can be argued if a lot of historical figures from both mythology and from ancient stories have committed suicide or not. It's a very common thing to happen. So I thought it was kind of heroic of him to take that choice to see his failures completed, and then once he succeeded, to stop. I thought that was a very powerful moment in the comic book, and I really enjoyed that. Other than that, I mean, I thought this was a great story. Is it like noteworthy? No. Is it an enjoyable read? Yeah, it was kind of cool seeing Dracula and Captain America go at it. I did enjoy that, especially the point where Captain America even grabbed him when he was a bat, like threw him. If you didn't read the comic book, read it just for that alone. It was awesome. So yeah, I get it. Now the connecting story where all these are kind of fitting together. At the end, we find out that Ravencroft has been updated. It's modern. It was cool seeing all the villains being transferred into it, and we get good old Osborn. He's going to be a consultant in the mental institution because he's got a free, clean bill of health now. Why, I don't know. Makes you wonder about the justice system there. So, yeah, let's see what happens with that. I want to see some more diagnosing the criminals in there because I think that would be fun to tear apart, which would just be awesome. So let's see where this goes. I like this. Keep doing more of this. I think all these should have happened in October. They shouldn't have came out now. I think everybody would be more into this if it was a Halloween, vibe going on than freezing ass January. So yeah, that's my thoughts. What did you think?
Well, the whole Cap fighting Dracula, I thought, oh, really? I mean, of course, we knew it from the cover. We knew what was going to happen. I mean, if you look at the cover and go, oh, okay, Captain America, Dracula. Okay, Ruins of Ravencroft, Dracula. We kind of know I don't know which cover did you get.
I got this one here where he's not wearing the little fish scale things. But
okay.
Dracula looks like, if you put a mask on him, he kind of looks like Zorro with the little pencil mustache.
He has a pencil mustache in here, doesn't he? He does. Just the whole, I don't know, the whole Dracula thing. It would have been cooler if I think it would have been somebody else. I don't see where Dracula fits in with this.
Well, see, the thing is Dracula, they just came off the run in the Avengers where they were battling Dracula. So Dracula is relevant right now in continuity in Avengers.
Okay, I have not been keeping up on Avengers, so maybe that's why I'm getting a little bit lost on that. And I don't know if they're trying to relaunch like the Marvel Monsters kind of line too. I think they are. I think about Frankenstein and stuff like that. So maybe that's what they're trying to do here is make him more relevant, with that Avengers run, as well as kind of giving him some tie-in with Ravencroft. But I don't know. It was just that kind of jumped. I kind of like lost it after that. I'm like, okay, whatever. I did think it was cool to Cap, just grab the bat and said, "You're going to start hurting my feelings." That was kind of cool. But but Dracula ended up turning back into human form and ended up knocking the shit out of him. Yeah, and I don't know why Norman Osborn. You would say, "Hey, okay, you know what? Here's a mental facility. Since you have no problems, no past at all, we're going to throw you in here and you're going to run it for us." Or be a consultant on it. Maybe he sees more of the mental side of it because he was that person. But overall, And I think we're leading into Ravencroft #1 that comes out next week. So that's what that leads into. So maybe we might have a little more tie-in with Dracula and his other characters from that might make a little more sense to me. But other than that, I think it was the weakest one of the three for me.
You know what? That's fair. I'll give you that. Out of the three, this wasn't my favorite out of them. I enjoyed it, but if I had to rank them, this would be at the bottom.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Okay, we are at just over an hour. I only have a few more. Let's just talk briefly about those. Go through the lightning round and what else I didn't read.
Lightning round. I don't know how to do the effects, so I'll just do this.
I don't think I have effects in there. Gung Ho number 2. Is that a G.I. Joe homage or what is that?
I hope it is.
It looks like G.I. Joe.
It does.
We don't find anything else really about what's going on in the world, why there's little settlements. It's all about the teen drama. And that shit, screw this book. It's a blast. I'm not picking up issue 3 at all. Maybe they might go more into the apocalyptic world. Other than that, it's garbage. The other one I did read, or read part of it. I didn't read the whole thing. And this is a pretty big book for the week. This is $10. I ended up getting 3 covers for it. That's Wonder Woman 750. We do have.
That was a long. That's a long read.
It is. I started reading it this morning, and then I realized, I need to get ready to go. I'm not going to be able to finish it all. I only read like the first chapter of it. But what, and I think a couple pages into the second one. What's kind of nice from what I see is all the stories connect. The different writer, different artists are jumping in and kind of continuing the story, which is kind of cool. Not something we'd normally see from these big, milestone books, like the Batman 1000 or Detective Comics 1000. We just got a whole bunch of miscellaneous stories. This one, they seem like they tie in quite a bit, and they have some good art. Some of them. I'm just flipping through the rest of it now. I don't care for that that art of Wonder Woman. No, thank you. But I do like Nicholas Scott. I think Nicholas Scott was the one previous to that. I think Nicholas Scott is probably one of my favorite Wonder Woman artists. That's some good stuff right there. But overall, I would think pick the cover you like, buy the one you like, and don't buy multiple issues unless you get them for $1 or $2. Get them when they're on sale. And I think you really got to be a good big Wonder Woman fan. But it seemed like all the covers, the artists really phoned them in. They were not any spectacular covers at all for this run. This is the 2000s. I think I bought the Perez 80s one as well as the Middleton 40s one, and they're not all that great either. Other books I picked up, I did not get a chance to read. Middle West number, what is this, 14 on that one. Marauders number 6. Didn't get a chance to read that. Once and Future number 6. I think I'm going to just jump in and bring these with me next weekend and read them all on the weekend. And Fantastic Four number 18. I didn't get a chance to read that. Those are my books for the week. What about you, Joe?
My books for the week are as follows. Amazing Spider-Man. Again, I'm tired of this spy crap garbage that's in here. Spider-Man has to make it look like he's a bad guy because he's got to do something good. But that cover, though, how could you not pick that up? Also, I thought it was interesting how it was explained how Jameson's daughter runs this media outlet. It might sound very familiar. Like, literally, they don't care about if you actually watch anything. They just want people to comment and argue on it. And it sounded like something from BuzzFeed. So that was pretty funny. It's all about the clicks. Let's see here. Marauders. Love Marauders. Did we finally kill Katy Purdy, or whatever the hell her name is that nobody cares about? Maybe we did. It would be awesome. Because apparently we had enough of her crap. So we threw her over. Caffeinated Comics, which cover is that? This is Amazing Spider-Man number 38. And this was I believe it's a variant. Nope, it's the variant. B variant. Apparently Sebastian Shaw is not somebody to screw with. He's had enough of Katie or Kitty or Kate or whatever she wants to be called now. He basically throws her overboard all tied up, and what we appear to be drowned. Now, the question is, can she be brought back is the question that everybody's asking, because she's not allowed to go to Krakoa. So how do they know to transfer her into the Golden Ball thingy? It's starting to get a little confusing. Honestly, between this and X-Men, these are only 2 X-Men titles that I'm reading right now. The other one's just starting getting a little convoluted too. Truth is, when your world gets a little bigger than you can actually imagine, sometimes things can get lost. I think we're going to start seeing that. I hope not. I like the idea of pirates being in X-Men. I hope they continue this. So I'm not coming from a bad place on this. It's a good place. Let's see here. Serpent Wars finally concluded. And yeah, you really kind of let me down on this. It turned into hocus pocus, magic religious stuff at the end, where Khonshu and Set had to come together. If you don't know who they are, they're Egyptian gods that nobody worships anymore and nobody even cares about. But somehow or another, they come together to fight the Verm, which, by the way, is Viking, by the way. Why that's a thing, I don't know. So that happened in here and stuff, and nobody cares. How's that for a review? Just being honest and legit. You really let me down on it. They had a great story and they botched it up. This was interesting. I'm going to take a second on this one. Fantastic Four, number 18. Come to find out, we found out in the last issue that the cosmic storm that turned the Fantastic Four into the Fantastic Four was not Reed Richards' fault. So what does that mean to the Thing who's been holding a grudge about it all this time? A little bit of rage. So he takes on the Overseer, who actually caused the storm, and takes things a little too far. He doesn't kill the guy, even though he kind of should have. But everybody else has a good heart and wants to be nice about things. What would you do? Comment, please. I'll tell you what, Pokehead Joe, I would have been dropping a body. Made a rock, yeah, I would have stomped a mud hole in that Joker, but whatever. Moving on. Oh, you're the villain. Hell has risen. Oh my God, everybody says there's no good DC titles. No good DC titles. This is a good DC title. Y'all should be reading this. If you miss classic superhero stories, this is doing it right here. In this one, if you remember, Jim Gordon's been infected with the Batman that laughs, ninth dimension, whatever that stuff is. He's infected with it, and he's infected all like the Sea Leaguers at the Justice Hall, which is awesome because they're all kind of cool now. All those characters that just kind of on the sidelines that kind of get stuck in guard duty, they're evil now, and it's kind of awesome. So that's really interesting because it always brings out the best parts in people. Things like what I try to get people to admit to in my villains contest. We'll talk about that at the end. Shameless plug. Moving on, Batman, Superman. This is a good story too. This deals with weaponizing secrets versus weaponizing transparency. Make no mistake, they're both weapons and they can both be used as weapons in this. And this book kind of explains it. Again, if you're taking a poli-sci course right now at college or a political course and you need a very clear definition of how to weaponize something, this is kind of your example that you can base it off of. Wish I had this when I took my courses. This is super simple. So in this, Batman and Superman are kind of in trouble with everybody because you have all the D-leaguers that have a problem with Superman and Batman keeping this secret about how people were infected. And the only one that they should have really been worried about was Wonder Woman, who's kind of the Trinity, right? With them, kind of left her out of the whole deal. She's got a little bit of a problem with it, but she's going to do the right thing. But everybody else is acting all snobbish and mean girl about it, like they have a say-so. You're the weaker of the group. Shut up. But, now they're going to be transparent and honest about everything, open up, and they're going to weaponize it. And they actually say that in here, which is awesome. So definitely, man, people are saying DC's not writing anything good. It's because you're not reading it. You should really be checking this stuff out every day. Read it right there in the comic book shop. What's the worst thing that can happen? They tell you to stop? I don't know what to tell you. All right.
They kick you out. They ban you for life.
What's that?
They kick you out. They ban you for life.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Because if you like it, then you owe them to buy it. Think of it that. If you don't, just tell them you buy something else. So Superman 19. So what happens when Superman reveals himself? Well, he gets fired.
Oh, how do you reveal himself?
Oh, in ways that, I don't know you that well. Maybe
Okay.
enjoy? Maybe. Yeah. Start calling you Marvel Boy. All right. So I'm joking. So in this, what do we get? What's it like to be fired and then 5 minutes later be hired because of legal stuff? Like, that's something we cared about in comic books. Legal stuff. Doesn't really matter. Oh, thank God it picked up into some action. We get Mongol. He comes back. If you don't remember Mongol, he's kind of a cool character. And somehow or another, they made him cooler in this. At one point, he's at the place where all the planets are coming together for their own UN, and they're deciding on this plot of land to have their little justice hall. He shows up there because he's owed something. Like Earth technically should belong to him if you've been reading any of the continuity. But apparently that's a problem. And then all of a sudden the Thanagarians are like, Thanagarians, as they attack him. And he's like, really? Is that some sort of accomplishment? I loved that line. I thought that was great. When people chant stupid stuff, I'm like, really? That's how we're gonna do this? He I don't know, I just kind of relate to him. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. First half of the book, boring. Not even gonna lie to you. Second half, though, I think we got a good story coming up, or at least I hope we do. That's my hauls for the week.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. But before we do, Joe had an announcement on something. What do you want to talk? Your shameless plug?
Oh, my shameless plug. So check this out. We're getting down to February the 2nd. What does that matter to you? I have a villains contest going on. Definitely check out my channel unless I can put it in the chat box, so I'll chat while I type. So basically, I have a contest that I run. I'm thinking about doing it yearly. It's the second time we've done this. Basically, you just talk about a villain that you relate to, and it can't be a villain that did something good or anything like that. It's got to be a villain that's doing something villainous. So some examples: Chaos in Comics recently said how much he feels like Galactus, because when he gets hungry, he doesn't really care about humanity. He just wants to eat. I thought that was great. And then Metal Rock did a great example of it, where he brought up some obscure comic book characters, some twins, and the repugnant stuff that they had to do. I love the fact that he used the word repugnant because it fit perfectly. Repugnant things that these villains had to do to not go through a worse trouble. In other words, they're taking a shortcut instead of dealing with consequences by doing bad things. And he kind of relayed that to his job. Now, sometimes he's got to do that. And I was like, oh, that's super double points. And he ended up prize. If you want to prize tag somebody for it, whatever, I'll make sure that people get the comic book. I have a great selection of comic books for it. Plus, we're going to throw a couple other surprises in there too. You can comment, Instagram, or you can do a video. Just make sure you get me that video. If you check out my channel, it's right there. It's the Villains Contest. It's the second one we've held. It's a great time. People are having fun with it, and that's the point.
Other news, guess who's going to Emerald City Comic Con?
Oh, yeah.
We are. So, yeah, Joey's got his flight all figured out. We're trying to figure out the Airbnb right now. I may have another friend coming up from Southern Oregon, and we're going to be at Emerald City Comic Con 12th through the 14th. I think we're both planning on leaving on the 15th, which is that Sunday. But definitely, if you're going to go to Emerald City Comic Con, let us know and hang out, talk about comics, talk about what's good, what's bad, what you're looking for, and just have a great time hanging out at con, talking to other comic book lovers. So that is, again, March 12th through the 15th. That's when the Emerald City Comic Con is going on. Definitely hope to see you there. If you are going to be there, let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments down below. Hey, I'm going. I'll hang with you guys. Joe will buy me a beer, right?
I will buy you a beer.
I'll buy a beer.
And for everybody that came to my last online auction at People's Auction House, thank you very much. It was a decent sale. Got a lot of things going. A lot of people really wanted a lot of those comic books, so I'm very happy that you could get those. So definitely, that's buy people beer money and drink money. So definitely, if you're going, let us know.
You have some bigger books on eBay too right now, right?
Yeah, I have a couple of bigger books. I ended up, I'm still going through a huge lot sale that I went through not too long ago. I'm still going through it. It's a lot of stuff. And I found some stuff that I had doubles of. Again, if I have doubles of it, I'll sell it. And I think I'm doing it at a fair price. So you can check me out at Joe Comics, J-O Comics. I'm on there. Definitely cool stuff.
I know I have a link. I didn't put one in this one here, but we definitely do have a link in one of the other previous videos. I'll make sure to add that in, so he's got that as well. I have a few books over on eBay too. Not a whole lot, not really a whole lot of stuff. I did try to sell some books a couple of weeks ago, not a couple of weeks, about a week ago. It's a 50-cent book, so that's still up. Those books are still available. If you want to watch that video and let me know, hey, I want this book, this book, this book. We'll get a hold of me, shoot me an email. We'll work out a price, and I think that'll work. I think that is all. Next week we might be doing the same situation where I'm jumping in and out of internet because I think I'm supposed to be back here next Sunday as well. Maybe I'll get on a tip-top floor and maybe get a little bit better internet from Best Western. As Joey makes fun of me, what are you staying out of Best Western? Yeah.
Yeah, when he said yeah, I was like, oh, I feel so bad now.
Hey, I'm not paying for it. I
There
got to
you
go.
go. That's the key.
So, whether you blast it, whether you sash it, happy reading, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye. Do I do the song or should I just end it? I don't know.
Whatever you want to do. You're the producer.
Oh, y'all want to hear this? Let's do the song.
Okay.
I make no shame about my dumbness. I just got to find the song. There it is.